All right. What's going on, guys? Coin Vigilante fam, Coin Vigilante team, and Bitcoin Ben's family. Welcome to the show. Today we have Bitcoin Ben. We're starting Monday off strong. Look at him. We got him on the show. We're going to get to listen to a bunch of knowledge. If you don't know this guy, he is a leading figure in the crypto world, Bitcoin world, and he has his own entrepreneur program. He does his own business. Very successful guy. So, Ben, I'm excited to talk, man. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, brother. I appreciate you inviting me on. Hang on a second, need a little coffee.
And I got my water. Here we go.
Awesome.
So Ben, what's going on with the Bitcoin world? Did you see what happened with the Mastercard? I mean, we got so many things going on right now with Bitcoin. Yeah, exactly.
That is huge. I hope if you are not friggin' buying Bitcoin, I don't know what you're doing. The amount of volume that this is going to bring, I don't think people wrap their head around it. Now mind you, this is Mastercard. How far do you think Visa is right behind them?
Yeah.
I guarantee it. But if you think about it, now people will be able to actually get rewards for using their Mastercard in friggin' cryptos, in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I'd say half of the cards in my wallet are probably Mastercard. And if I had the option of choosing like the US dollar or accumulating Bitcoin, I'm going full friggin' Bitcoin. And this is on their whole network. And they explained they're bringing wallets. They are bringing the ability for every vendor on their network to not only sell cryptos, but also add reward programs on top of it.
Yep. No, you're right. It's huge. Mainstream, dude. Just like you've been saying, crypto mass adoption, it's happening before our eyes. And we're literally pioneers in this space still. I mean, we're early. That's the crazy thing. I still think we're a little bit early, but even though most people still don't own Bitcoin, the smart people out there and the system that is being created is getting prepared to onboard all of the people. And even though we think that the system is getting ready to onboard everyone, it's not ready because the rush that's going to go towards Bitcoin, once a lot of people in the US start feeling the hit of inflation, that's going to be one thing. Because here, listen to this. In South America and third world countries, people have been dealing with inflation for a long time and dying fiat currencies that they actually use cryptocurrency. They use Litecoin, they use Bitcoin, they use anything because otherwise their purchasing power is completely devastated. And so that's the crazy thing. In the US, we're just getting the little taste of the inflation that's hitting us. And that's going to be, I mean, I think the rushes, we talked about this on your show. Bitcoin Ben has a show, guys. So if you haven't seen his show, we actually did an episode where he invited me to his podcast a couple days ago and actually gave me a spotlight for my Kickstarter with the Bitcoin and Litecoin watches. In that podcast, we talked about how much demand there's going to be for Bitcoin that, like you said, any little drop that gets added into Bitcoin, I mean, it's just going to be the demand cannot keep up with the supply. And so, or the supply cannot keep up with the demand. And so it's just crazy what's happening. I'm blown. My mind is blown. And it seems like every day, every week, some new big entrance coming into Bitcoin. Now we saw Backed, is partnering with, who are they partnering with? Mastercard, right? Too?
Yeah. And what's crazy is, all right, I was asked to test the app uh, prior to launch. So I've had this app with Pact for a few years now, and it's excellent. You can literally purchase like Bitcoin and and then apply it towards a card that you link with your Apple, Pay and all this others. But what's really amazing is the project will allow you to import your rewards program. Like if you have airline miles or you have points at like any like membership points or rewards or anything like that, that you load it on the app and then they're valued in actual Bitcoin. And if you want, you can sell them for actual Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So if you have like 100,000 airline miles, whatever the value of that is, you can sell them in the app. If you're never going to fly again, or you need money right away, but you don't have any, but you have airline miles, you sell your airline miles on an open exchange in the app. And this is a little view of what is coming. This basically blockchains or cryptos, any rewards program out there. And it actually makes the Bitcoin literally the internet reserve currency, because whatever rewards program or anything, you can sell them for Bitcoin. And that idea, that capability is a constant purchase where there'll be so many people using these that Mastercard and all of their partners, every day they're going to be buying Bitcoin in mass amounts.
Yep.
And I know for a fact that Mastercard is already in the process with a few other partners. They're launching a mining pool. Can you imagine how many miners that Mastercard is going to run? Because what they're doing is exactly what Jack Dorsey is. Each of them are picking up what I call the McDonald's way, or however you want to explain it. For years, McDonald's would purchase their actual meat from another company.
Yeah.
Well, they thought, wait a second, we're actually buying so much meat. Why don't we have our own cows process them? Then we own what we're selling. That's what Visa, MasterCard, and Jack Dorsey and all, they're getting into making their own friggin' Bitcoins. They're gonna mine their own Bitcoins, which is smart. That's why Jack is over in Africa and he's actually building a huge cryptocurrency mining place out in Africa.
Yeah.
That's what he has been doing. And this is only going to grow bigger and bigger in El Salvador and everything they're doing. And I mean, Brazil, everyone heads up. In about a week, we're going to get news for Brazil that is equivalent with, El Salvador.
Okay.
And as this grows, we are anyone who purchases Bitcoin under $100,000 each is in about a year or two, people are going to go, wow, you were so lucky. You bought Bitcoin under 100,000. Because when you do the math, if let's say that the global economy is running on the Bitcoin currency.
Yeah.
That amount, just like 10%, puts each of the Bitcoins worth about $2.5 million.
That's crazy.
That's only 10%. I mean, if you want generational wealth, work your ass off and get half of a Bitcoin or get a whole friggin' Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because in like 4 or 5 or 10 or 15, imagine 20 years from now. In 20 years, the block reward will be less than one friggin' Bitcoin. Every block, like 0.81819 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That's crazy. But how do you? So I mean, we're talking about this. A lot of the people that are watching right now, like they don't. Some of them still don't understand the importance of this. And what would you say to the newbies? Because for example, the one thing I can say, just to keep it as simple as possible, is that Bitcoin in the current system that we live in actually protects your purchasing power. So if you're new to this, Bitcoin is scarce. The US dollar is dying fiat that is not. It is printed away at the expense of everyone's purchasing power just to save the top 1% and the elite. And living proof of this, you don't believe me or you don't understand what I'm saying. If you would have put that $1,200 stimulus check that we got last year into Bitcoin that day that you got it, you would now have, I don't know how much, like $10,000 or $8,000. That just tells you those $1,200 can, buy you so much less of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin has been able to not only hold your purchasing power, but increase it, quadruple it over time. Yes, you deal with fluctuation, but volatility is a price that you pay for that purchasing power that is protected. And so to me, that's my way, kind of like my 2 cents of explaining it, although Bitcoin has so much more behind it. Like, in your opinion, Ben, what would you say? Like, if you're, an elevator speech or whatever you call it, your 2 cents on Bitcoin for someone new that's listening to the podcast right now.
All right. Imagine you're on the edge of the ocean. And I have a cup in one hand and a cup in the other. I walk over to the ocean. I put one cup in. I grab it. There's a cup full of water. Then I have in this hand a wonderful glass of the most expensive wine ever made. And I say, okay, which one do you want? Okay. Well, I want the wine, right? This one's the wine will cost you $100. The water is free. And that is what we're dealing with. The US dollar, there's so much of it out there that it's losing its value every day because there's so much of it. Where the Bitcoin, there's only 21 million. And although that sounds like a lot, there's 7.5 billion people on Earth, supposedly. Yeah. And that's even if each of them got a little slice, just a few satoshis. That's what we're talking about. You cannot print up more of the Bitcoin. And plus, there's a ton of them that are gone. In reality, they'll only be in the market usable Bitcoin, maybe 16 million, because so many of them have actually been lost in wallets and lost in laptops.
Or are dormant in Michael Saylor's balance sheet.
Right. Yeah, where they aren't going anywhere. You know, in a few years, I mean, people are going to be working a week or a whole friggin' day for a couple of satoshis. And that is not exaggerating, because as a fixed asset in a world of mega hyperinflation that we live in, and not just with the US dollar, we have the yen, we peso, the Australian dollar. Everybody's printing up more and more fiat currency, and they're all going to get eaten and are being eaten by the Bitcoin. Yeah. And this is everyone's opportunity to actually get in to the future currency of the world, because everything is going digital. And this is a trustless system. That's what people have to understand. When you own Bitcoin, you don't have to trust anybody. You have to trust the network. And it is completely trustworthy because it is decentralized. And there is a monetary reward structure for holding up the network. That's the miners. Mm. They work, they actually pay for energy, they mine the Bitcoin, they set the floor price of actual Bitcoin. And then the Austrian economics value added structure then actually adds value on top of it. Yeah. And that structure has no cap. Eventually, all of these old currencies you won't cash out of your Bitcoin. Eventually, it will reach a point where, on like the Lightning Network, if you have a couple satoshis, you're going grocery shopping and getting a lot. Mm-hmm. Plus, you have to anticipate human psychology and corporate reaction. We're going to reach a point where Chevy and Ford and Walmart and all these places, they're going to offer you a big friggin' discount if you use Bitcoin, because they're going to want it. It's going to sell at a premium. So if you're like shopping at Walmart and you're using US dollars, mark my words, pretty soon, within a year, I'd say, you'll see Walmart, Amazon, everybody offering a 20-30% discount if you shop using Bitcoin.
And you're able to now. Look who accepts Bitcoin. PayPal. Look who accepts Bitcoin. And how many merchants do they have worldwide or something like that? 40 million. And then BitPay, and then Mastercard, and then Visa. So, the system's there. And look, it's the same thing with us. Once we're done with the Kickstarter, because Kickstarter unfortunately only accepts dollars and credit cards. When we're done with that, stay tuned. Everyone out there, you'll be able to buy your Bitcoin watch with Bitcoin, your Litecoin watch with Litecoin directly. And mark my, exactly like you said, I would rather get that Bitcoin watch with Bitcoin. You pay me with Bitcoin at a 20% discount than me getting the $295 or whatever when it actually goes retail at full price, because I want Bitcoin. I don't want that melting ice cube with dollars that you give me that I keep in my balance sheet at Coin Vigilante, dying every single year, being able to lose 20% of its purchasing power, and then it's compounding, and it just keeps going. You got it right, Ben. We want it. We want the Bitcoin. You want the Bitcoin, everyone. I mean,
absolutely, because you as an entrepreneur, if you play it right, you can literally accept like Litecoin and Bitcoin. Then your operating expenses, you get a 6-month loan on your Bitcoin. Then you produce a mass amount of watches. You do a huge marketing campaign and you sell out your watches. You pay the loan back. You've never lost any of your Bitcoin.
Yep.
And you've only gained however much more in that round. And and how much has Bitcoin appreciated in that time? See, we got a lot of people who are like, yeah, Bitcoin's going to run up and it's going to hit $150,000, $200,000. Then we're going to have a massive drop. No, we're not. Because once Bitcoin hits $150,000, that is literally replacing the volume of the US dollar globally. $150,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's only the beginning. It may drop a little, plus then your friggin' market cap is so big, there's not a whale out there that will be able to sell enough volume in order to drop the market cap that much.
And it's global. Like there's so many at this point, and once Bitcoin gets to $150,000, like you said, a piece, there's so many people at play that even if one country wanted to demolish Bitcoin price or whatever, they couldn't. Because you have so many players in the system that are, we're living off the system at that point, off the Bitcoin network. We are transferring value through the Bitcoin network globally at a global scale, where so many big players, are just holding Bitcoin. I mean, it's going to be the whole market changing, man, before our eyes.
I'm thinking that within the next 6 months, that by April of next year, the circulating available Bitcoin on a daily average will be maybe 1,000 of them, because everyone else is just gonna hodl. And that's when we actually get into where people are actually paying satoshis. They're like, all right, I got $1,000, I get 100,000 satoshis. It's yeah, smash those likes, people. it's and I know a lot of people can't wrap their heads around this large of a change. But for us early adopters who may have a few Bitcoin, you're literally going to have generational wealth if you play it right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Someone asked, okay, what is a Satoshi? It is 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin. Every Bitcoin has 100 million satoshis.
Yep. So that's what's going to be our currency. Yeah.
Yeah.
And paying with satoshis.
And the general public, by the time the general public is in cryptos, which will happen over the next year, they will only dream of holding one whole friggin' Bitcoin. When I initially got into it, Bitcoin was about $600, and Litecoin was like $3 or whatever it was, and Ethereum was only like $6. We're all gonna be like royalty in friggin' crypto wealth. and it's just because we were curious enough and open enough and knowledgeable enough to see the old system was in trouble and look for the answer and find actual Bitcoin. It's like, wow, this is neat. Then you dig in and you're like, this is not neat. This is the answer. This is the answer to so many global issues. Hunger, this is the answer to it. Because
it is.
countries can literally, here in St. Louis, we have an electric company called Amwin. I just heard this morning that they're celebrating that they have mined 20 friggin' Bitcoin at the electric company. The value, now mind you, this is an electric company. They don't have to sell them. They're hodling them. As the value goes up, they're going to apply more energy. And now think about Illinois, Missouri, Hawaii, El Salvador, America. If you want social programs without taxation, there you go. Create a mining facility, a nationalized mining facility. Because then you earn a growing currency of global acceptance. And then if you want a social security program, you fund it with Bitcoin. If you have homeless issues, you fund it with
Bitcoin.
Coin. I was at the Utah Valley University about a month ago, and I did a keynote speech, and I said, I will bet anybody in here $1,000 that in 50 years that food will be free. And it's because people in countries, and I know this sounds nuts, but this shift is not only a shift with cryptocurrency. This is a technological shift where between robotics and 3D printing, the way we produce is going to change, because you yourself, in about a year and a half, you'll actually be able to print up every working piece of your watch and just put it together.
That'd be nice.
And in about 6 years, we'll actually be able to create silver and gold from pure energy.
But you know what I'm getting from this? So as you're talking about this, I feel like there's a trend. I don't know if by the will of God or whoever, that we are going back to more power to the individual. And ultimately that helps collectively. But I mean, if you're talking about that, well, now I can transfer money by just myself with someone from A to B, peer to peer. I don't need anyone else, right? Another thing, like you said, technologically advanced stuff is going to come out to where I can just build my own watches right here from my house without having to go through a third party, with having to go looking for a money. And then another thing, decentralization, whether you guys like Ethereum or DeFi or whatever, I am able to use decentralized things where I can use a marketplace where no one's in the middle and I can buy anything myself. I can Theta or other networks. I can publish my videos without having someone like YouTube or other people telling me you can't post this. It's giving power to me. And so, I'm seeing this trend where there's more power to the individual. There's more freedom of speech, more free will to be able to do what you want, transact with who you want. And to me, that's just so valuable. And people don't realize that. We often talk about, well, Bitcoin price is just going to go up. There's so much more to Bitcoin. And, the fact that it's censorship resistant. See, that's where my fire comes from. I get so pissed when we have government just printing away trillions of dollars, screwing you who's watching and me and everyone else for our hard work that we put on our 9 to 5. On top of that, we have seen over and over how the US and any country has lied to our faces. Iraq war, this and that. I can keep going on and you'll think I'm a conspiracy theorist. But to me, even if Bitcoin was worth $10,000 right now, or it dropped 30, 40, 70%, I still find so much value in it for just the fact that it's not controlled by the government. The government can't do anything to it. The government can't tell me that I can't send something to someone. That's value in itself. And people notice that. And that is what's also creating this exponential growth in it, because little by little, people usually just get into Doge or Shiba or whatever right now, just because they think of price. When they realize the true value and power of something like Bitcoin, something like Litecoin, yes, okay, the price is not going nuts right now, but the intrinsic value, see, that's the key word, the intrinsic value, the price and market price for all those other coins will only last for so long. The intrinsic value, though, behind sound projects like Bitcoin and Litecoin are what's going to push those over time for generations to come. And you said it, it's going to be generational wealth. That's the way I see it. And
yeah. Hey, people who are out there and they're actually buying like Dogecoin and whatever other shit coin. What they don't realize is they're trading one shit coin for another. They're trading in dollars for another shit coin. Now, there are differences because there are projects out there, like one I'm actually involved with, which is the Divi project, which is actually DIVI project.
Yeah.
They are creating an app and a masternode structure for a foundation of decentralized sales place. They're working to get rid of Amazon because I'm going to be working on the project myself.
Okay.
And what I plan on helping them create and them help me create is a platform where it runs on their structure they're already building. They got this beautiful masternode structure that you actually build a website on top of it, and people who live in huts out in Australia can launch products on this website. And what it is bringing is a network of global, little guys together who actually compete with Amazon and all these other places. And that way, like, your watches will be available on this website. And that's actually something else I wanted to talk about was I'm traveling to El Salvador, and I'm setting up a venture capital fund in El Salvador to actually fund projects like yours and other small cryptocurrency projects. And what we're going to do, we've always lived in a world that was created by someone else. We have the opportunity to live in a world that we create because it's our network. It's our group of, you and I have what they call subs. What is that? That is a network, and that network has value. And that network, if you work together and launch a venture capital fund, then you invest in projects like yours, and then the venture capital fund owns a little piece of your company. And you actually get the working capital, but also you get the network because of, I've explained it in the past. We're living in a new shareable economy. Now, everyone in the venture capital fund is now your salesperson because they receive an affiliate link for your watches. All of a sudden, you have 2,000 salespeople who have a vested interest in your company succeeding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you have 2,000 salespeople, and who knows who they are? They may own retail shops, or they may own, jewelry stores. And all of a sudden, your little company that only had you and your girlfriend and a few friends or whatever, you guys are getting orders for hundreds of watches. And you're like, how the hell is this happening? Because of the network with affiliate links and people who are invested in your company as an affiliate and as a shareholder of a venture capital fund that invested in you. It's a win-win for to sell watches, because they not only receive the initial whatever it is, per watch. The venture capital fund, which they own part of, receives dividends from your company from selling watches.
Yeah. That's huge. No, you're right. I mean, that's a network in itself. And
exactly.
And we live in a system now where we value those networks. And with a network, I mean, the options are countless. And speaking of networks, so you do have a network yourself, which I wanted you to talk about. So guys, if you look on the YouTube channel, and I'll post it on Twitter too, in the bio or description, you see two links. The first link is a link that directs you to, I believe it's your Patreon account, where talk about that. And then the second link is the Kickstarter page where you can buy your Bitcoin and Litecoin watch. I'll talk a little bit about it before we end the live stream. But check out those two links. The first one's from Ben, second one from me. Ben, go ahead and talk about what you got going on with that link.
Yeah, it's and the reason it's actually on Patreon is there's so many people out there that are pretending to be me that I can't really control that. But on Patreon, I can. Plus, what I'm doing is I'm creating a group of entrepreneurs and investors, and we're launching this venture capital fund in El Salvador. And I'm educating people on how this is all going to roll out and showing them the new economy. And once you watch a few of the episodes and you really wrap your head around the shift we're going into, you can see why the founders group is as popular as it is. I mean, we only have like a few hundred places left in the founders group because we are structured under the SEC, because I didn't want just a bunch of rich guys getting together. And I know a lot of rich people in cryptos. What I wanted was to structure it where unaccredited investors could get involved.
Mm-hmm.
That's rich people talk for normal people.
Yep.
if you're an unaccredited investor, that means you're an average Joe. You're an average Jane. If you're an accredited investor, that means you have over $1 million in assets. Well, not everyone's got that. So what I'm doing is I'm actually launching this group of mostly unaccredited investors, but the SEC only allows 1,999 people in that group. But I'm actually keeping it at 1,750 because I don't want any fluctuation. I don't want the SEC even looking at us. Where we file it, we're done. We aren't getting close. We aren't, 199.98, 199.99. No, I don't even want to be close. So that way, we as a group, we launch a venture capital fund, and we actually get into seed rounds of these early companies like yours. Yours isn't even in the seed round yet.
Yeah.
All right. You're literally just like, hey, I got a Kickstarter. I got a great idea. Let's see if it works. Well, it worked, and you reached your goal.
Yeah.
Now what you do is now you get all of your legal documents. You set up your corporation or your LLC, and then you launch your seed round. Well, your seed round would be like you and all of your partners are like, all right, we're going to sell 20% of ownership over 3 rounds. Your original round is your seed round. If I were you, I would only offer that to people who helped you with your Kickstarter and announce that while you're raising money in the Kickstarter. So that encourages people to go, well, hell, I want in this seed round. I'm gonna contribute
so I can be part of that.
So I can be part of that. So then you have your seed round, and you say, I want to raise $1.5 million, which sounds like a lot of money, but in business, it's not. But your seed round gets you up to about a year's worth of production and a year's worth of payroll. That's your seed round. Then you just start producing and running your company. And then at about month number 6, you announce that you're having your next raise is your A. So then you have your A round. Well, in your A round is when you sell off like maybe 5% ownership, but you revalue it at about 10 times what your seed round was. And then people will invest in your A round. That hey Ben, how do I join the Founders Group? Join the Patreon under the entrepreneur level, and that has all the information.
Do you want me to share that? Do you want me to share on the screen, Ben?
Yeah. Yeah, uh, and send me a message, and I'll have Lori, my assistant, actually get a hold of you. Yeah, the crypto entrepreneur level to the right there.
Yep,
Right.
right here.
Yep. That will give you all the information for the founders group. Now, I guarantee that if that's what you plan on doing, I don't know if that's how you plan on structuring this, but that's how I would recommend it. When you call me and go, Ben, we're ready, we're doing our seed round, we're selling about 1 million shares. Each share is actually going to be worth like whatever, like a nickel or a dime or whatever. And I'm buying in on it. And so will the venture capital group that I'm starting. Then when you have your A round, you'll probably sell another 1 million shares, but they're valued at $1 each.
Yeah.
All right. Then you'll have your round P, and your round B will sell, 4 million shares, and they're each valued at $10.
Yeah.
And that now, what that does is after your third round, you are capitalized for about 6 years with annual growth of about 9.5% per year. That gives your round P investors confidence that after about 6 years, that $10 per share whenever you go public, because after 6 years, that's when you apply and you go public.
Yep.
If you want to, or you stay private. That's up to you. And then if you go public, you have an IPO, and your IPO, your initial public offering, will be valued at whatever, like 20 a share with limited share. It's so.
No, that makes sense. And see, that's the thing about this. That's why I wanted to bring you on too, is because you're a successful business owner. And guys, look at you just got, just from listening to this Bitcoin podcast, you just got to learn all about seed rounds, all about how to fund a business, all about how to get you capitalized, all of this stuff. So again, if you guys are wondering, he's the real deal. Bitcoin Ben's the real deal, and he knows what he's talking about, and he's had the experience, and he's done it himself. He's been a successful entrepreneur, businessman, and a leading figure in this space. And look, I don't really get paid to do a podcast right now. And we are sharing this info. We're putting it out there because we want you to know about this. And number one, I'm learning about it. He's also learning something from me, and everyone that's watching learns. And so, I mean, that's definitely something we'll be interested in, Ben. But here, I want to wrap it up with something though. So with this live stream. So speaking about networks, guys, if you're watching right now, and number one, thank you for watching. If you're watching, I always forget about this. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment. I always forget to mention that in my videos. You're supporting us with every like or comment, subscription, whatever. About the watches. So if you don't know, and maybe you do, we are selling Bitcoin and Litecoin watches that are inspired, right? Inspired by Bitcoin and Litecoin. Every single detail, and I'll take it off right now. This is my Litecoin watch. It's the last one I have because I gave them all away. every detail that you see in the watches, this doesn't do it justice, was made by me, right? This was 2 years ago when I quit my master's degree, economics master's degree, in order to actually join this movement, right? So I felt I needed to create something that would resemble the importance of time and also the respect for sound money. And I figured if I create something, it would be a watch, and it would be a Bitcoin and Litecoin watch. So what I want to say, though, I'm going to share my screen. You're going to see here, if I can share it here, you're going to see my Kickstarter, which the link is at the bottom. Just go ahead and check it out, guys. I'm not trying to get you to buy a watch, but I want you to see what I'm doing. And Ben actually, he bought 8 watches. He contributed on top of that just to help the cause, just to help another entrepreneur reach his goal. Before I was in his podcast, we were sitting at around 11,000. Bitcoin Ben got his whole crew going, his followers. See, network. His network of people, listen to Ben, listen to me, our podcast, they got us to reach our funding. Unbelievable, right? The support is there. And so right now we're sitting at $44,000. There's 101 people that, to me, every single person who buys his watch represents that importance for time and money. So yes, it's a classy watch. Yes, it is a watch, but there's a movement behind it, and there's also going to be a network. Number one, these watches, we will not be selling them until January, February again after this Kickstarter is over. So you have 19 days to get these watches. That's it. We are not selling any more after that. If you want a Bitcoin watch or Litecoin watch, get it, because after that, once we start selling January and February, they're going to be $295. So right now there's a Kickstarter discount. And guys, look, I'm not the only one wearing them, and I'm not the only one liking them. Bitcoin Ben likes it. John Kim's wearing one. Johnny Litecoin's wearing one. Miss Teen Crypto's wearing one. There's going to be another person that comes out today that's wearing one. So it's fun. It's cool. There's a movement behind it. And you know what? Another thing we're doing, going back to networks. For every person who buys it, there's going to be more things coming. You're joining a movement. Guys, we're going to do special events that only Bitcoin and Litecoin watch owners will be able to attend. We're going to do voting rights for the next round of new editions that will be limited, where you will be able to vote, get the inside scoop on watches, on new designs. And Coin Vigilante, I'm going to tell you this right now. Coin Vigilante is not just a watch company. There is a lot more going on behind it. And with this funding, not only are we going to be able to fund more watches coming in the future, where we're going to collaborate with other people, there's more coming. We got a podcast, we got a growing network, and there's just more coming, guys.
Now, let me say this. I would not be surprised if in the future there is a watch, and it is an actual Bitcoin Ben watch, and each of them are NFT'd. And there will be a limited supply of maybe 100 or 200 of them made. And they will be NFT'd. And the boxes and all that will have my signature in them, and each of them numbered.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
That's the type of stuff we're talking about with NFTs. You know, right now everyone's like, ooh, I got a cyberpunk. All right. Wait until things like this are available, where there is an actual like Bitcoin Ben watch, and it's NFT'd, where they will never be made again.
Yep.
And it isn't just me. I mean, think of some major players out there, actors, politicians, and the watch, like he said earlier, the watch will come with privileges.
Exactly.
It's if I were you, I would also say, and maybe you want to talk with your team about this, is let everyone know, hey, we are going to have a seed round. And people who actually purchase a watch now will receive a 25 or 10% bonus in the seed round if you participate in the seed round of funding.
Yeah.
That's how I would do it, because then more people will actually get watches, and they'll be like, I want in the seed round, because you see, because the NFT industry is gonna change the world, and watches and collectibles.
And so and yes, you're right. And listen, guys, the only reason why I didn't do this is because Kickstarter prohibits anything related to NFTs. They actually did not approve. You have to go through a very strict procedure to get approved on Kickstarter by their staff. We got rejected the first time. We had to adjust. So, guys, and that's what I'm saying. And that's what he's saying too. And someone in the comments just said, man, can you imagine having a watch being a ticket to an event? See, guys, when someone gets a when someone gets a watch, what do I always say on Twitter? When someone gets a watch on Twitter, I retweet, I comment, because you're part of a, what do I tweet all the time? Welcome to the Coin Vigilante team. You're part of something, and I still have not announced it. And I've been giving hints here and there. Bitcoin Ben has bought 8 watches. Just get an idea of what's happening here. And again, and Ben, you don't even know yet, but I'll keep you in the loop. And again, for the watches, number one, just like you said, there could be a collaboration with Bitcoin Ben for an NFT launch with a Bitcoin Ben watch, in which, and who's going to get the first scoop, the first insider look? The backers for the Kickstarter. One, because you are backing a new startup, you're backing us. Thanks to every pledge and contribution, you are making this possible. And so you will be rewarded in addition to the watch that you're giving. And like Ben said in his previous podcast, I'm not asking for a loan, guys. You will be rewarded for every contribution. I'm going to give you a watch. And so it's going to be huge, Ben. I mean, and you're getting it. Ben's getting it.
Oh, yeah. No, trust me. As an entrepreneur, I see exactly what you're doing. And the reason I'm smiling is you're right on. Because if more companies realized that if you reward your network grows. These corporations that have made tremendous profits but have never shared it with their networks, they're going away. See, what you guys are witnessing is, and I'm showing it and he's showing it, that you can literally buy a watch in a Kickstarter, and within a year inside that network, you've made more money from just actually buying that watch than you could even imagine, because of the timing of when you got in. Because in the future, and I may be wrong, but I doubt it, in the future, everybody who buys a watch will have an affiliate link. And if you're smart and you get into the, Kickstarter, then you get a little bonus when he does his seed round.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you bought a watch, but that watch was actually a membership into an opportunity that you didn't even realize you had yet.
This is getting me excited.
This is the future of cryptos. This is the future of the world economic system, where there aren't going to be centralized winners. These corporations are going to get destroyed because of organizations and products like his, who, you have a watch? Yes, you do. But guess what? I bought this watch during the Kickstarter program. I've made $15,000 this year alone just sharing my affiliate link on great watches. Yep. That's it. Yep. And you know how easy it is? Join a bunch of groups on Facebook, just watch groups. Join a bunch of watch groups and then post videos of yourself wearing a watch with a link right under the video saying, hey, if you like this watch, you can purchase it here using my link. And that's your affiliate link. And you get paid every time somebody clicks on that link. They sell a watch, you get paid. His company grows. And if you're in the seed round, the value of your shares grows as he grows. You're getting paid to pay yourself.
So it's a beauty, and that, so man. Again, guys, I'm excited. No, it's because I'm excited because number one, you understand what's going on, and in a way, we're connecting because we have this shared mentality with this, and the possibilities are countless. And guys, you understand his way of thinking. Listen to him and follow his link that he has right there. And again, remember, you're part of a network, Coin Vigilante team. That's what I tweet. You got to watch. Just stay tuned. You're part of something bigger. So, guys, again, if you want to contact me, I guess someone said contact me. I'm Mr. Vigilante BTC on Twitter. And if you go on the Kickstarter, there's a way to click at my profile because I'm the creator of the Kickstarter. You can see my email, contact info, email, everything. So check me out there. And again, check out Ben's link. It's right there. The 2 links to buy the watch and to also participate and be part of his group is in the bio. So, Ben, let's wrap this thing up before we give too much away as to where we're headed with this business.
I know.
But thanks for everything, guys. Thank you for watching the show. Subscribe, hit like. Ben, any last thoughts? Go ahead, or are we good to go?
Get a watch. End of story.
End of story. All right, we'll end it there.